on Sunday. Matthew Stafford versus Joe Burrow. These quarterbacks have been among the top in most statistical categories, but especially when it counts the most under pressure, they shine, especially Joe Burrow. No one has been better against the blitz. They call him Joe Cool for a reason. Here he is.
They're a very good defensive front. It's going to be a challenge for our guys, but, they've worked really hard to put themselves in this position. And I know that, our coaching staff has a great plan for them that they're going to be able to go out and execute. But obviously guys like Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller are guys that are going to get pressure.
There he is. L.A. Ryan, good to see you, sir. And Ryan, I just need to tell you, when I was watching NFL Live, I watch you guys every day, I was having a little bit of FOMO because that set looks amazing. And I've never been to Disneyland. Are you having a good time?
Listen, it's a great time. It's even a better time because I know that Stephen A. is still stuck on the East Coast. Molly, we wish you were out here. But for Stephen A., who wants to be in L.A., who wants to be in Miami, I'm glad he has to still be down there in the cold while we're enjoying this great weather.
I thought the brother had love.
I'm sorry, bro.
I thought the brother had love for me.
I just wanted to marinate on your face for a moment.
And by the way, I didn't know pastors were allowed at Disneyland, that they showed up at Disneyland in the morning.
Come on.
But
you know RC's clean.
It's okay.
Let's get to it. Ryan, I'm glad you're having fun. Say hi to everybody for me. I'm going to start with you, though, Stephen A., because we got a great quarterback matchup. And wait till we make our picks later in the show. And I'll remind everybody, my pick record, much better than his. Do your homework.
I don't know. I need to do homework on that. I don't recall.
Okay,
I don't recall.
Don't make me call.
I know fantasy football you that.
No, don't make me call. I will call Skip Bayless. I will call Max Kellerman. I will call all of them.
Call them.
And they will tell you. I have the receipt.
Call them down.
Let's stay focused, though.
Okay? They've been victims, too, as has you.
Oh, my goodness.
But, all right.
Who will be the better quarterback, Stephen A., on Sunday?
I think it's going to be Joe Burrow. I think that Joe Burrow is going to be that guy because I think he'll make less mistakes. That doesn't mean Cincinnati will win the game. I'll save that, I'll decide what that pick is near the end of the show. But I will tell you that I expect Joe Burrow to throw for over 300 yards. I expect Joe Burrow to overcome a lot of stacked odds against him and put on his own show with courtesy of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and those boys. And I think it's going to be a thriller. But I think that this guy is going to really, really show what he's made of. And I think that numbers-wise, he'll end up having better numbers on Sunday.
Okay. RC?
Listen, again, Stephen A. is wrong, but we're used to this. I just heard Big Perk eat him up on the conversation about the Nets and the 76ers.
Please.
And I got to do the same thing right now. Listen, I want it to be Joe Burrow. I want Jamar Chase to have a great day. But Matthew Stafford has been playing absolutely phenomenal in these playoffs. And we did see some mistakes, but those mistakes, especially with the Jaquiski Tart missed interception, didn't hurt the Los Angeles Rams. What we have seen is him make huge plays to Cooper Kupp late in the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go for over 320 or 340 against the San Francisco 49ers, who we know are a great defense, and make play after play in the high red zone to Cooper Kupp. I think that when you look at who Matthew Stafford has always been, he was a Hall of Fame talent. They've now put him in games to be a Hall of Famer. And I believe he goes out, balls out in this game against the Cincinnati Bengals and Lou Anarumo, who are great defensively, and he becomes the MVP of the Super Bowl and punches his ticket to Canton. This is Matthew Stafford's time. Matthew Stafford's waited for this his entire career, and he's done nothing but show up throughout these playoffs, and Sean McVay will have him dialed in because this is the most important game of both of their careers.
Listen, I'm not going to summarily dismiss that possibility. I understand it, but what I'm saying is I'm looking at Stafford's abilities working against him, at least at some increments of the game. He is an elite quarterback. We know it. He can make any throw. And as Dan Orlovsky so eloquently put it weeks ago when he was playing for the Detroit Lions, because he has to remind us that he played for the Detroit Lions. I don't know why he does that. If I was him, I would hide the fact that I used to play for the Detroit Lions. But that's just me.
You know what else he played?
16, bro.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that he played for the Detroit Lions, and he talked about how he went up to Matthew Stafford one time and asked him, why does he make those throws? Yeah. And Matthew Stafford told him, he said, because I can and you can't. And I see Matthew Stafford, particularly on a stage like this, being that guy with those bright lights, with the biggest stage you could possibly be on in the world of sports, which is the Super Bowl. I see Matthew Stafford going out there and putting on his own show, but also being a bit risque and as a result, making a couple of mistakes. Now, how much will it cost them remains to be seen. But I'm saying I see him taking chances that I don't see Joe Burrow taking. So we weren't answering the question as to who would win the game. We were answering the question as to who would be the better quarterback, who would put up numbers while minimizing those mistakes.
Yeah.
I see Matthew Stafford as the kind of guy, RC, that's going to put up numbers and make mistakes.
High risk, high
Whereas
reward.
Joe Burrow will
All
put
right.
up numbers without the mistakes.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to in terms of my answer to this question.
Yeah, I know, and that's the crazy thing, right? Joe Burrow in the playoffs was a different quarterback than he was the first 14 weeks of the season. Through the first 14 weeks of the season, when Joe Burrow was under pressure, he was second in the league in turnovers. And then after that, he turned his game around, and even with the pressure, he's not turning the football over. But with Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Gaines, those guys chasing Joe Burrow and putting that pressure on, he's either going to have to take sacks because we know the Cincinnati Bengals are weak up front, or make those mistakes. In the Super Bowl, you have to make plays, and I think that's why Matthew Stafford has the best day. He understands that you're going to have to take chances. You're going to have to push the football down the field. And think about what we saw from Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams when they were in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. This team only scored 3 points. If you think Sean McVay is not going to be aggressive, is not going to want to come out and prove that first time was a fluke, then you're absolutely crazy. And I think that's why I lean more toward Matthew Stafford, because I know the type of time they'll put into being better.
Well, here's the deal. There is no comparison to what he faced against the New England Patriots compared to what he's facing this Sunday. First of all, you were going up against Bill Belichick. Now you're going up against Zach Taylor. That's number one. Number two, New England's defense was pretty damn good that year. We ain't saying that about the Bengals up until these playoffs. They were serviceable, they were decent, but they really stepped up their game. Here's the interesting thing I want to throw by you, RC, in all seriousness, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
Yep.
I believe one of the reasons I'm so confident in Joe Burrow is because of what he endured against Tennessee. See, do we expect the Rams to have more than 9 sacks? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he was slaughtered.
It's hard to get more than 9, dog. It's hard to get more than 9.
He was slaughtered against Tennessee, okay? But they still managed to win the game. So what I'm saying is, okay, there's a possibility he could get slaughtered again with Donald and Floyd and Von Miller and those boys coming at him, right? But somehow, some way, they can still find themselves in this game. And that's what I'm looking at. Like, if he had never endured Tennessee, then I would be like, man, he in a world of trouble. The problem was he did endure something like that and still found a way to come out on top. And now Ryan Tannehill helped. We all know that, okay? And Matthew Stafford is no Ryan Tannehill. We get that part. I'm just saying I don't see Aaron Donald and those boys having a better day against Burrow than Tennessee did.
RC, how do you see that matchup playing out? Because that's interesting.
We're talking about the offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals against Aaron Donald and those boys. I think that's tough. Yeah, I think they'll get pressure. You know, even in talking about it throughout the week, going back and watching all of the playoff games, that's the one thing I'm certain of, that the Los Angeles Rams will get pressure on Joe Burrow. And what we have to see is which Joe Burrow shows up. Listen, I'm as confident in Joe Burrow as I am in any quarterback, so don't get me wrong. That's a guy I know that's going to show up, come to play through adversity, through whatever. But when we look at what Aaron Donald was able to do by pushing the pocket in the middle, drawing all that attention, now you're going to be one-on-one on the outside with Leonard Floyd and Von Miller. This is a guy that's a Super Bowl MVP in Von Miller. And also Raheem Morris is kind of the missing piece of this whole deal. He's been so great at finding ways to get pressure by rushing 4 or rushing 5 people. And so I think Joe Burrow will be under siege. I believe the Los Angeles Rams win the battle up front. It's going to be what he does when that pressure gets there that separates the Cincinnati Bengals or the Los Angeles Rams. And so it's not that I don't think Joe Burrow is going to play well. I just think he's going to have a more difficult task than Matthew Stafford. And in that, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, OBJ, Van Jefferson, I believe those guys find ways to make more plays and have more impact on the football game.
Real quick, what do you think about Cincinnati's short game, meaning his ability to find receivers in short route situations because he's trying to get the ball out of his hands inside of 2 seconds? Burrow, I'm talking about.
That's what's actually changed this team. Remember early on in the season, all we saw was Jamar Chase deep, T. Higgins big play. The thing that have changed about the Cincinnati Bengals going forward was they found ways to get Jamar, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, the football without Joe Burrow having to hold it so long. And that was the thing that helped them beat Kansas City, especially when they were shading towards Jamar Chase. So I think that's a good part of their game. It's not the best, but if you stop Cincinnati from making big plays, they don't seem to score as many points. And that's going to be Raheem Morris's approach to beating this team.
All right, let's leave it there. We got so much more to get to. Let's get into a quick commercial break. It's been a story of redemption for Odell Beckham this season. Sometimes the grass really is greener on the other side. Just ask Odell Beckham Jr. A new environment was exactly what he needed after the Baker Cleveland era set his career back. As for LA and Stafford, that fit was right from the jump, getting on the same page early and often. And now he's playing for his first Super Bowl ring while simultaneously being on baby watch. Congrats to him and his family. 13 is at the mic.
I remember watching the Super Bowl last year, my ACL, and it just wasn't the best feeling in the world to have to watch that. And I said, I'm going to play in that Super Bowl next year in Los Angeles. Like, who is supposed to be for me? Like, I'm supposed to be playing in it. Not only playing in it, like, you've got to win. And to be here, to not knowing that I wasn't going to be in Cleveland, that I was going to be on the Los Angeles Rams, like, I could have never seen it. I could have never seen it. So definitely would be the one thing I've learned about myself is how resilient I truly am, and how no matter how many times I fall down, I'm just going to continue to stand back up.
It's a good message right there. Yeah. Kimberly Martin in the building. Good to see you. It's been a minute. RC still here with us. I'll start with you, Stephen A. Has OBJ proven he can be a number one wideout again?
I believe he has. I really, really do. I know that he's had only 100 receiving yard this season as a Los Angeles Ram. But if Cooper Kupp were my teammate, I would only have 100 receiving yard game too, because
right,
that brother's being targeted about 80% of the time for crying out loud, and deservedly so, because Cooper Kupp is on another level. Understand, Kimberly, Ryan, when you ask me as a guy, a number one receiver, my first thought process is, are there 32 receivers better than him? Mm-hmm. Because if they are, then the answer is no. Mm-hmm. But if you can't name 32 receivers better than somebody, then yes, they could be a number one somewhere. It just depends on where they are. Okay, we ain't saying that Odell Beckham Jr. is the number one receiver in L.A. because he's not. But should he have been the number one receiver in Cleveland? That's a different conversation. And so when you look at it from that perspective, you also got to take into account, is Matthew Stafford Baker Mayfield, or vice versa? We know the answer to that question, okay? So I just look at it and I say yes. And the thing about it for me, a lot of people owe this guy an apology. Now, I'm going to take it to a place where people don't want me to take it, but I don't give a damn. I'm me, okay? The brother got a bad rap. Let's think about this for a second.
Yep.
He's in Jersey with the Giants. We see what the Giants organization, how much they've regressed over the years, and you just want to get people because they ain't your cup of tea. And Odell Beckham Jr. shows some frustration, Kimberly, and kicks the net, okay? And that's like a crime, okay? He's in France with somebody, and he was eating pizza. He was eating pizza. I mean, everybody talking about the white powder she had next to her. I saw Odell Beckham Jr. eating pizza. That's what I saw. I saw him eating pizza. There's just pizza. That's all it was. He was eating pizza. I don't know if Pizza Hut out in France or Papa John's or somebody. I know he was eating pizza. I didn't see that stuff near him. I saw the brother eating pizza. Okay, that's number two. He goes to Cleveland. What'd he do? You got people acting like this brother has committed crimes and he's such a distraction and all of this other stuff. Mm-hmm. The brother got a bad rap. He goes to L.A., and this is where he wants to be. He accepted his role. He understood his position and his place, and he conducted himself properly and helped them, because keep in mind, there is no Robert Woods. So a lot of people that had questions about the Rams was because Robert Woods went down, and we didn't know how much Odell Beckham Jr. had left. And he showed us he's got a lot left. I like it. He could be a number one. I don't think he should want to. Be happy being a number two right where you are. But does he have the talent to be a number one still? Yes, the hell he does.
I'm still on the pizza.
That's right. It's true.
You know,
I just saw pizza.
No. I don't think he's shown that he can still be a number one. He's not the number one on his own team. And the question when it was posed to me was, could he be a number one on a competitor, a Rams competitor? And when I think of competitors for the Rams, to me, it's Green Bay, Devontae Adams. San Francisco, Deebo Samuel. Tampa Bay, Chris Godwin. Cincinnati, Jamar Chase. Minnesota, Justin Jefferson. Like Odell, those guys are in a different tier to me. Is Odell still one of the top playmakers in the league? Is he still a good receiver? Yes, 100%. But even when the question of what would a team give up for Odell? Would teams want Odell? And I called around and teams are sort of like, he's a good player. He's still a good player. But I wouldn't want to absorb all that. I wouldn't make that trade. And there's a reason. So is he in a much better situation? Yes. But let's not act like in Cleveland, he was hurt last year. The team was winning without him. And he was the 2020 season, not 2021. Not
Yeah.
Okay. Before y'all come at me.
Okay, I was about to.
No, I remember.
Okay.
Thank you, Molly.
Go ahead.
They were winning. They were winning
Yeah.
when he was hurt, right? And he wanted to leave. He was talking about like, I need to. Behind the scenes, he was like, I want to get out of here, which is fine. But if winning is the most important thing, you're seeing your team is capable of winning. Now, if anybody is to blame, I know everybody talks about Baker and he's no Matthew Stafford. Look at the head coach, Kevin Stefanski. You want to look at somebody, he should have figured out how to make Odell work. But really, the issue in Cleveland is they don't have a number one receiver because they got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So I understand Odell is happier in this situation. That's great. But to automatically think, well, because he's balling out with the Rams, that he's suddenly a number one wide receiver, like that's just a bit much. And if he wins a championship this year, his father is the MVP of the league for orchestrating him getting out of Cleveland.
We don't
like
disagree
that
there.
You know what?
We don't disagree with the last part.
Yeah, you know what?
I like the last part. The
That's a
rest
great
of the
take.
take, no. But go ahead. Go ahead, RC.
Yeah, that's a great take. Listen, Kimberly A. Hater, I need you to listen up a little bit, right? Don't ever use the Cleveland Browns as our litmus test for any damn thing.
That's
so
right.
what? They won some games without Odell Beckham Jr. down the stretch last year. We saw what that team truly was this year, and everybody was all excited. Oh, they got rid of Odell Beckham. Now Baker Mayfield is really going to show you what he's worth. All Baker Mayfield showed that he was good at is making damn commercials. So I'm not going to let you come on here and continue to make Odell Beckham Jr. sound like the problem.
RC?
He's absolutely proved that he could be a number one. What's up, my guy?
More progressive commercials than
Yes.
wins.
Good commercials, very good.
I've
commercials.
always said that.
Very good commercials.
Go
Excellent
ahead.
commercials. Excellent commercials. But what we've seen from Odell Beckham Jr. is like what I love that Stephen A. said is he saw that he could be a part of the locker room. We saw that he could be a teammate. We saw that he could ingratiate himself into a new atmosphere, right? And show some chemistry with a different team. And he also took the backseat to Cooper Kupp, which you have to do. But when you watch him in this last game, 11 targets, 9 catches, 113 yards, the huge catch down the stretch when getting the unnecessary roughness penalty by being hit in the head, Odell Beckham Jr. still has juice. Every time he's gotten the opportunity one-on-one in the red zone, he's won. And Matthew Stafford has gone to him. The first play of every playoff game has been a pass to Odell Beckham Jr. This dude still has it. He has the speed, and he's shown the confidence in his hands again that maybe we didn't see in Cleveland without some of that chemistry between Baker Mayfield. And I get it. I'm an LSU guy, and we talk a lot, and I love him, and I think he's a baller. But period, point blank, when you cut the film on, people are still scared of Odell Beckham Jr. Safety still slide to Odell Beckham Jr.'s side, even with Cooper Kupp on the field. And when you have that type of cachet, when you have that type of respect, you can absolutely still be a number one receiver. Now, I agree with you. If you go team by team and see what different guys have, the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chase, oh, wow, that's crazy. I just mentioned 2 more number one receivers, and they both went to LSU too. But when you see those guys, I get that he may not be the number one for every team, but he's definitely the number one for some team.
That is correct, Kim.
We're talking about. Yes, could he be a number one? What team are we talking about, though? Because there's a lot of teams. He should have been used as a number one.
I feel like I won you over.
No, you did it. You definitely did it. You definitely did it.
Give her a team, RC.
You definitely did it.
I feel like you're rocking with
Because no. Because here's the thing: we can point to stats. We can point to stats all we want. Like having Jamar Chase on the Bengals makes T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd a lot better because you have to account for Jamar Chase. Guys pay so much attention to Jamar Chase that it opens up the field for other people to make plays. So when you talk about the Rams, Cooper Kupp is that dude. So Odell obviously is going to he's going to be able to take advantage of that situation, and Stafford's going to be able to find him.
Excuse me.
The question is Odell still a number one receiver?
Did she just do this?
The
Kimberly just hit us with this.
Sometimes y'all forget who I am. Don't think that I didn't hear the Kimberly Martin hater. The reason, these are facts. We could talk about he's not the number one on his own team. Is he still good? Is
Pittsburgh?
he still a playmaker? Yes.
Baltimore?
Yes, but that is not
New England?
the question.
Hold on, whoa. Yes, it is. Let me explain. Hold on. We heard you. Let me come back at you now.
Okay.
Let me come back at you now.
You go. Okay.
Here's the deal, Kim.
Yes.
When we're asking a question about number one, we know he's not number one on LA. We know who the number one guy is.
So when you bring up the stats in LA,
no, wait a minute. No, we're not bringing up the stats. I didn't mention stats. What I'm talking about is what we're witnessing. RC said he's won in every red zone situation. But number two, when we're watching him, his speed and his route running, it's elite. It's there.
Yep.
And so when I look at it from that perspective, forget the numbers, because we know the numbers ain't going to be representative of it, because Cooper Kupp is your number one option and Stafford's primary target. We all know this. When Woods was there, Cooper Kupp was still a primary target. We understand that. But in the end, when you're looking at Odell Beckham Jr., here's the question that we're asking you. Your eyes, okay, because you have them. Okay, you can see them. Yes, there we go. Ain't nobody fighting that. That is besides the point. Stop trying to distract us. Stop trying to distract us from the issue, Kim. Here's the deal. You look at Odell Beckham Jr. His speed, his route running, his ability to catch the ball attract attention. You trying to tell me on at least about 10 teams he couldn't be the number one receiver?
I hear you. How were 10 teams trying to trade for him?
No, because of the garbage that was being said about him, not because of all the other stuff. It was because of reputation. You know these guys, come on now, you've been covering the league for years. Yeah. You know a whole bunch of people don't want guys because they don't want the headache. That's what they don't want. Why did Giants let him go? They didn't let him go because of his ability. They let him go because of his image. They didn't want the headache. They didn't want to deal with the headlines for the New York Post, the New York Daily News, the New York Times, New York Newsday, the Bergen Record, and everything else in between. Newark Star Ledger, all of them.
If you're number one, if you're a true number one, teams come after you. If you're number one, they will find.
Would the Giants do that?
Well, it was about Cleveland. They didn't know what he was after Cleveland and the injury, and we're asking, do they see it now? And now you still see it.
All right,
she knows.
We're just all
she knows. She just don't want to admit she wrong.
All right, we're gonna agree to disagree, and we're gonna leave it right there and keep it rolling.
We know.
RC, I see the rides going on behind you. You have fun out there. Stay safe. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being with us.
Pass the clock.
Enjoy the weather, Stephen A.
Pass the clock.
That's real
Enjoy the weather, Stephen A.
That's real
why you cold.
He's going to prayer service in a bit.
Enjoy Super Bowl here. James Harden.
What the hell is up with that outfit? Showing up on national television with some pleather shoulders on a sweater. The Day Show. We're not going to call him Playmaker. We're going to call him Pleather Mike.
What do you mean, man?
Pleather Mike. I think they're walking in there playing with house money, absolutely nothing to lose, whereas all the pressure is on the Los Angeles Rams.
No offense, my man, but it's spoken like a person that's never played in a Super Bowl.
I thought I was supposed to be on the show today with my brother, Big Perk, the Santa Perk, the Papa Perk. I mean, damn, with the glasses now. That's the Perk. What's going on? What the hell happened in the AFC Championship game? How y'all lose to the Cincinnati Bengals?
I mean, listen, started off great. First half was cool. And the second half, we just didn't score.
When you wore that doodle-colored blazer with the hoodie underneath, trying to look like the backup dancer for B2K, you cannot talk about what Michael Irvin is
You
wearing.
have no style. This is a bad brother right here, Deebo Samuel with the San Francisco 49ers. What do you want to be seen as an NFL player?
Me personally, I think I'm a wideout, and then a wideout that can really play anything.
I just wanted to check in to see how you were doing back in New York. You know, out in LA, the place that you love. You know, those are called palm trees. It's like 90 degrees here. I'm sure back home where you are, it's, I don't know, high at 27. LA's a beautiful place. I'm sure you miss it.
You got me, bro. I have no comeback. I have no comeback whatsoever.
Dan got you right there. Dan got you good. A Fresh
Yes,
Hour
he
first take is straight ahead from where, Stephen A? We're from NYC. We'll be joined live by 7-time Pro Bowler Saints defensive end Cam Jordan with his thoughts on all things Super Bowl. Plus, Stephen A has a lot to say about people on both sides of the Simmons-Harden deal. But first, with the Super Bowl still to play, Joe Burrow has already been sacked 12 times so far this postseason, tied with Donovan McNabb for most in a single postseason since the early 90s. Burrow's 83 QBR when blitzed this season, including the playoffs, is the 4th highest in the NFL. The Rams were 3rd in total sacks this season and number 1 in pass rush win rate. So it's strength versus strength right there. On that note, speaking of LA, bring in my guy, Swagoo, Marcus Spears on the west side.
Oh!
There he is!
Oh, hell no!
There he is!
Hell no!
How we doing?
Hell no!
So bright out here. It's so
Take
bright
off those
out
glasses,
here. The
man.
weather's so good.
He doing that just to rub it in. He's doing that just to rub it into me. That's low.
You know how many times?
You know
how many times we watch? You know how many times we watch you and Molly out here on the West Coast, and we sitting in a cold studio, and it's dark outside? You gonna get this work today, brother. You just had RC, a.k.a. Dr. Lonnie Love. Now you got Reverend Do-Right.
No. First of all, it's Reverend Lonnie Love. That's number one, Reverend Lonnie Love, all right? That's number one, okay? Number 2, all right? When Molly and I have been in L.A., we were in a studio.
Yeah.
You don't see this sunshine outside like that.
And it was like 60 degrees.
And it is 60 degrees at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you don't see the sunshine out like that. This is low. This is as low as you've ever gone against me. This is really low.
Prepare for the elements.
All right, man.
I mean, hey, you can't get mad. You can't get mad at the pupil's teacher. You got to just roll with it. This is my time. You where you are, I'm where I am, and where I am calls for me to have my 9-5ers on, like Big Perk. We out here, palm trees, crazy sun. It's like 65. It feels great. Look at the background. Why wouldn't I wear shades? Why wouldn't I have them on?
Okay, Swaggo, before we get to the debate topic, are you having fun? That's all I care about. Are you having a good time?
Molly, I am having a great time.
Good.
Okay.
You
with
deserve
that being
it.
said,
You deserve all of it.
With that being said, I've had enough of my spill of Cali. I can't wait to get on that red eye tonight and get back to my wife and 3 babies.
Yes, you do have a wonderful family.
This is after he was at the partying with Jamie Foxx last night. This is after that, right?
I wasn't going to say it.
Now he can get on red eye. Now you get on red eye and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You know, he can throw a party. I've never been, but
I mean, he was my boy until he didn't extend the invite. He probably, but then again, he was looking out for me. He probably just didn't want to rub it in because he did ask me, was I in L.A.
He know where you at.
No,
he know where you at.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. We want to do this? All right. I'm going to start.
I ain't want to talk to Marcus.
I'm going to start with you. Marcus, who do you think is going to have the bigger impact, Burrow or Donald? Talk to me about that matchup.
Aaron Donald. And I know we get enamored with these quarterbacks and the numbers that they'll put up, but I think about impact and effectiveness on the game. Like what plays are going to determine it. And, Stephen A. and I had this conversation about Tom Brady when they were about to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I tried to tell him, because impact is not built in the numbers. It's built in the number of plays that you make to change the game. And I think that's going to be Aaron Donald. Look, there's reason to believe that Joe Burrow can sustain a lot of pressure and still have success offensively. This is a different animal. This is the best defensive tackle that we've seen play this game. He's going to be in the conversation for the best defensive lineman to ever play the game and does it at a consistently high level. We saw him force the interception against Jimmy Garoppolo. We saw him sack, fumble Tom Brady. Those were game-changing type plays. Burrow might throw for 350. He might have success. They might hit some big plays. But I think when this game needs to be determined, when there are situations in the first half, in the second half, where a play needs to be made, and the Los Angeles Rams are on defense, 99 is going to impact the game and probably change it for his team.
Well, first of all, 99 is going to impact any game. So let's be real, because he's just that phenomenal, that great, and we understand that. But I think the reason I disagree with you is because number 99 going to have some help. And it ain't going to just be from Von Miller helping them get to the quarterback. It's going to have to be from a guy like Jalen Ramsey that's neutralizing cats in the secondary, particularly Jamar Chase. If cats are getting open, then Aaron Donald ain't going to have that kind of impact because he ain't going to get to Burrow in time. So you're going to have to really, really make sure you're getting help from the secondary, which is why I'm siding with Burrow on this. I think there's going to be plenty of
You're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. How many times do I try to teach you and you going to do it again? All right, see, you fall in the same trap. You have all of these offensive guys. You and Dan Orlovsky got y'all love fest going this year. And all I hear you talk about now is quarterbacks. I told you a few weeks ago what Aaron Donald was going to do. Did he do it?
Okay, well,
Yeah,
did
right.
he do it? First of all,
You were right.
I really, really need you not to come at me like that because I'm already heartbroken that I'm not out there and I'm watching you with your shades and it's all affecting me right now. You ain't got to talk to me that way. I need you to be a little bit kind today. I'm in a very vulnerable position right now, watching you in that sunshine with your shades on.
I'm sorry.
And I'm stuck back here when I was supposed to be there. I'm very ticked off, okay? That's number one. Number two, I do recall that your number one fan for big man balling. Big man balling would be me. I'm the dude. I'm the dude that markets that, okay? I mean, you do it, but I'm the one that tell the world, y'all can't miss big man balling. You got to see that segment. That's the truth. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I never thought that there was something that would ever be able to compete with the A-list, okay? Until I saw big men balling. I said, damn, I like that. I like that.
Thank you for the endorsement, big bro.
You've been doing that for me for years. I appreciate NFL Live. It cannot be missed. I think SportsCenter should make sure they get that segment up there on a weekly basis as well. Just a thought. Nah, here's the deal. With all of that being said, Burrow is the quarterback. Burrow is going to have more shots at the apple. So now what we're talking about is big moments. That's really, if we're going to be fair to Aaron Donald, who doesn't have the ball, and obviously Joe Burrow has the ball every down, clearly he's in a better position to have more of an impact. So we're talking about the big moment. Who's going to be that dude? And I think right now, I'm going to side with Burrow on that. I think that Burrow is going to have more big moments than Aaron Donald. He's going to have a bigger impact on this game. That doesn't necessarily mean a positive thing. He can have an impact in a negative way. You understand what I'm saying? With no pressure from Aaron Donald whatsoever. But it's going to be more about Burrow than it is about Aaron Donald. That's what I'm trying to say.
And I dig what you're saying. And Stephen A., here's the thing. We talked about this yesterday on NFL Live, and it's crazy, man. And I think, your points are all really good and valid, and we understand the impact that the quarterback usually has on the game. But I challenge people to think about this, S.A. A defensive tackle. Just take the name Aaron Donald out of it, all right? Just think about this game. We're in the Super Bowl. A defensive tackle has the 5th best odds to win MVP in a Super Bowl game.
That's special.
Think about that.
That's how lethal he is.
Like, that's how lethal he is. Remove the player. This is like LT stuff, bro. This is like the best we've ever seen play the game. And I was thinking about that yesterday and trying to put that in context. And like you said, they could double team Aaron Donald. They could try to run away from him. They could try to get the ball out of their hand fast enough. And the makers still have this dude, the 5th highest guy for MVP odds in the Super Bowl with all of this elite offensive power that we're about to watch. I just, I lean heavily towards defensive linemen. You shouted out BMB. I'm telling you, man, Aaron Donald is going to continue to make us believe and make us understand that I am different than everybody y'all have ever seen play this position in the NFL. And he in the Super Bowl. You saw him after the NFC Championship. He was pointing at that ring. There will be no being denied, I believe, to Aaron Donald, man.
All right, don't start confusing me because I got to make a pick the end of the show. It's giving me a lot of anxiety and eyes for that. Don't start confusing me, okay? Okay.
Molly, I wish you was here, and I wish he was still in New York.
You know what?
That's what I wish.
You know what? One reason I really wish I was there.
Yeah,
I've never been to
don't be
Disneyland.
flabbergasted.
I really wish I was at Disneyland.
Yeah, don't be flabbergasted.
I want to go on the rides. I want to have cotton candy. I want to wear the ears like Laura Rutledge had, and I want to just have innocent fun.
How could you say that to me?
Molly.
How could you say that to me?
I came out here on the West Coast flexing. Look at them gold tips, Molly.
No,
Look at them
I know.
gold tips
I
right
know.
there. I came out here
They're
ready.
fresh.
I
They're fresh.
I
You look like
actually,
you lost a
this is
little
the
weight,
first
too.
trip in months I didn't do a carry-on. I actually checked the bag so I could make sure when I showed up on First Take, Stephen A. knew I was about that life out here.
I don't want to talk to you right now.
I love you, bro. I love you. You just
I don't
gotta
feel the
get it,
love.
bro.
I don't feel the love at all.
You're hurting his spirit.
I don't feel the love at all. You
You're
and
hurting
RC,
his
see,
spirit.
this is what happens when you trust those LSU dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? They're my brothers. I give them nothing but love. And the second they get a chance to pounce on me, both of them do this. I mean, RC rubbed it in about the sunshine. Now this brother comes over here with the shades and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really, really bad. But it's all right. It's
Hey,
okay.
man.
You know what?
Hey,
I'm
man,
still
don't
holding
act
out
like-
hope.
Don't act like we ain't had to watch 1,000 of your moments. The drip. You had the chains on at the
Yeah, but
fight.
it wasn't
You're walking
Super
in
Bowl
like
weekend,
you're Frank
Marcus.
Lucas in
This is
American
different.
Gangster. But Molly Q, I didn't watch you. I didn't watch y'all in Vegas. He come out with the Jabberwockies dancing. Y'all got y'all shades on. You know, y'all was at A&T this year. I mean at FAMU this year, unveiling Kevin Hart on the set.
right.
RC out there. Let me get my time.
Okay,
This is
you're
just
right,
a
you're
little
right.
small.
You're right.
Little,
I'm going to let you
let me
live.
get
You
mine.
deserve all of it.
Yeah.
But I do miss having our shows with the
thank
crowd.
you. Yeah.
I do miss the crowd.
We'll be
when
back.
we have
We'll
the
be back.
fans, it's the best energy. All
By
right.
the way, I still holding out
Speaking of
hope.
good energy.
We might be in South Beach for the finals. You just never know.
Oh, yeah. Hope we're at the
That-
Clevelander again, the crowd in the pool.
This is impossible.
Okay.
I don't give a damn where we are.
You gonna invite me or today mess that up? You gonna invite me or today mess that up?
You're invited. Of course, you're invited. Guys, I just want to give a little news and notes here right now. We are very excited to welcome back Chris Mad Dog Russo. He'll be joining the show next Wednesday. Mad Dog will be making weekly appearances on First Take starting in March, so we are very, very excited to have him. Now, he is a special talent, and he brings the energy and brings the heat.
Well, he's going to be on most. I mean, we talking about over 40 Wednesdays or whatever the case may be. And, you know, I worked with him at Mad Dog Radio. I love the guy personally. He's an institution. He's one of the originators of sports talk radio. Him and the great Mike Francesa started sports talk radio, and now he's got his own channel, Mad Dog Radio, which I was blessed to be a part of for a couple of years, and I'm still friends with a lot of folks there, especially him. I love the guy. I love his passion. I love his knowledge of sports, the historian that he is, and I love his fire. Now, I feel bad for him because he has to go up against me, and that's going to be a problem for him. I have no doubt that he has the energy to deal with it, but that don't mean he's ready for the smoke he's about to experience. So I love Mad Dog. Steve Torrey, love you too, my man. All the people over there at Mad Dog. But in the same breath, I feel sorry for Mad Dog because he in a world of trouble on Wednesdays. A world of trouble.
Well, he starts this Wednesday, and he has a photographic memory, so good luck. Do your homework. Super Bowl weekend, we have a blockbuster trade on the East Coast. Mr. Smith is here. Perk, Swagoo, RC, Kimberly Martin. I am back. Are you ready to do this?
Are you sure Big Perk is here? I heard security had to go get him to make sure he got to the camera because he was a little bit hesitant to go up against his boy.
He heard I was back on the show, so he said he was coming back.
Are
It had
you
nothing
okay?
to do with
I
you.
wounded you too much. You needed a full 2 days off. You all right? You all right? You sure?
Settle down.
Okay.
Stay in your lane.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
let's do this.
Yes,
All right, so here's the deal. In all honesty, Stephen A., when I got the alert on my phone yesterday, I did a double take, and I was like, the big three is already over before it even happened. This is really going down. And it is the truth. The Nets shipped James Harden to the Sixers and acquire Ben Harden and Paul Millsap head to Philly, who sent Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-draft picks to Brooklyn. Harden has exercised his $47 million player option for the 2022-23 season as a part of the trade. A source confirmed to our Bobby Marks, and he's eligible to sign a 4-year, $223 million extension with Philly in August. Meanwhile, Simmons has already talked to Kevin Durant and Nets GM Sean Marks and is eager to join the Nets and ramp up for a return to play this season. KD, Kyrie, talk to me.
I'm excited for our team. Looking forward to finishing the season out with these new group and these new players. And, you know, it's playoffs right around the corner, so we got to fast track into, you know, getting used to each other. But I'm excited. You know, I think everybody got what they wanted.
I can't really speak for James, but, you know, for us in this locker room, I've just done my job to fulfill a great leadership role alongside Kay and other guys. And, you know, I've been I think we're also forgetting I've been in a situation too where I've asked for a trade, and I understand it. So I'm not here to judge him, not here to talk bad on James. You know, he has a great family. He's a great person. You know, sometimes we get caught up in these situations on teams where, you know, sometimes the outside influence could get inside the locker room and then it has this divisive energy with it. And it's just not what I'm about.
Do we have my favorite Kendrick? My second favorite Kendrick is going to be halftime. That'd be Kendrick Lamar. Do we have Kendrick Perkins? Let's see. There
I'm right here,
we
Molly.
go.
Oh, he showed up. He showed up.
And what's Stephen A. talking about security? I am security.
Well, that is a good point. I can't dispute that. I can't dispute that. That's the one look he's mastered. He does look like security. That is true.
Oh my goodness.
I stand down on that analogy. He got me there.
All right. Let's do this, Burke. We need to talk about it. Did the Sixers make a mistake?
No, they did what they were supposed to do, and Stephen A. knows this. Stephen A. again, Molly. Stephen A. about a week ago, just last week, he got on the Philadelphia 76ers about wasting Joel Embiid's season, MVP season, and wasting his prime in the way that he's playing. So what did Daryl Morey do? Daryl Morey said, you know what? Ben Simmons not playing anyway. How about I go get a MVP caliber player in James Harden? And I get it. Everybody's saying, oh, he don't look like the James Harden of old and things to that nature. But the fact of the matter is that the reason he didn't look that way is because James Harden didn't want to play with Kyrie Irving. Because Kyrie Irving don't get held accountable by Steve Nash when they in film rooms, but James Harden does. That's why we saw some instances where James Harden faded away in the fourth quarter and wasn't aggressive because Steve Nash was telling him that certain shots and certain looks wasn't good looks, but wasn't telling the same thing to Kyrie Irving. So I want to tell you this. On Christmas Day, without Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant against the Los Angeles Lakers, James Harden went for 36, 10, and 10 with the win. 2 days later against the Clippers, James Harden went for 39, 15, and 8. So I don't want to hear about James Harden game is declining, he's out of shape. No, he just didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be in that culture. And so now you add James Harden with the big Embiid, we're looking at the next, we could be possibly looking at the next version of Kobe and Shaq. But Philly won this trade by far, hands down.
That is ridiculous and utterly an ignorant thing for you to say. That's right, I said it. And let me go a step further, KP, because let me break something down to you. Are you ready for this? I'm not just calling you out right now. Guess who else I'm calling out? Irvin Magic Johnson. I was just on the phone with him like 5 minutes before the show. He was all in the gym getting swole, working on his arms and all this stuff, and got off the phone to try to get on me. Well, damn it, I disagree with the great basketball savant, the greatest point guard in NBA history, the 5-time champion. I'm even calling him out on this. All of y'all are on something, okay? And including you, Big Perk. Daryl Morey got hosed in this deal. He got hosed. Nobody is saying that James Harden doesn't make the 76ers better. Nobody is saying that the Philadelphia 76ers are not better. What I'm saying is you made Brooklyn exponentially better. You gave them an all-world defender, a 6'10 brother with ball handling skills, a playmaker, somebody that can defend and lock down almost anybody in the league. He was my defensive player of the year last year. That's what you did to buffer your defense. You also needed frontline help because you were thin if you were Brooklyn. What do? You get Andre Drummond from the Philadelphia 76ers, who can grab 20 rebounds a night if he wanted to, at least 4 to 5 offensive rebounds, which gives Kyrie Irving and KD additional shots. By the way, Ben Simmons, get back to him. You got a situation where Kyrie Irving, again, more offensive responsibility is on his shoulders because James Harden is not there any longer, and Ben Simmons don't really want to shoot anyway, which means that's more shots for him, more shots for KD, more shots for Patty Mills, more shots for Seth Curry. We can't ignore that as well. Plus, you gave up 2 first-round picks. And here's what you're missing. Daryl Morey. Would you say that before Daryl Morey arrived in all seriousness, fix your face, KP, fix your face, because I'm getting ready to ask you a question real quick. Would you say that Elton Brand was doing a relatively decent job in Philadelphia before Daryl Morey arrived? Would you say that?
I would say he did.
Okay.
He was doing a decent job.
Yeah,
a decent
what I'm saying
job,
to you is this.
above average.
All right, right. What I'm saying to you is this. So why Daryl Morey get the job? Because you walked up in there being transparent, telling them you was going to get James Harden. So you were addicted and committed to getting your boy from Houston. As a result, Sean Marks knew it, and that's why he could lay back in the cut and make sure he made all these demands. He wanted Thibault, he wanted Maxey, but in the end, he knew he wasn't going to get that. So what does he do? He sits up there and he went from having a guy in Daryl Morey that was requesting draft picks from opposing teams to giving up 2 first-rounders. That's what happened here. So what I'm saying to you is this. It's not that Philadelphia hasn't gotten better. I believe in Harden. Even though Harden, 2015 against the Warriors, 2017 against the Spurs, 2018 against the Warriors again, he has had his struggles in the postseason. I still believe in Harden. But an immense amount of pressure is on him. And so when Magic Johnson, the great Magic Johnson, sits up there and says, yo, not this year, Stephen A. Long-term, Brooklyn's better, but not this year. I'm saying to him and I'm saying to you, I respectfully disagree, defiantly, I might add. And just like I'm arguing with you today, Magic Johnson had the audacity, the unmitigated goal to say he's going to come on this show.
Good.
On this show
Magic.
and check me in front of a national television audience. Well, guess what, Magic? Bring yourself, bro. I'm not scared of you on this issue. I'm not scared of you on this issue. I am right. Daryl Morey made the Sixers better, but he made Brooklyn even more better. And as a result, I'm sorry, if Daryl Morey and James Harden don't end up winning the chip over this, and especially if Brooklyn does win it, you know what? He looks worse, not better.
Well, first of all, I feel sorry for your loss for not even agreeing with us. That's your problem, okay? But second of all, so what if Daryl Morey promised the Philadelphia 76ers a 3-time leading scoring champion, former MVP, to come pair up with Big Philly? See, here's the thing that people don't realize. Yes, it's some pressure on James Harden, but all Embiid need is a little bit of help. And now he got a lot of help. Now he finally has a guard that he has never played with in his career. No disrespect to Jimmy Butler. No disrespect to Tobias Harris. No disrespect to, if you want to call Ben Simmons, you know, a point forward, whatever the case may be. They are not James Harden. And the role that James Harden plays right now, he's moved from the shooting guard position and he wants to play that point guard position, meaning he wants to be the facilitator. So lay down the stretch, guess what? I'm going 2-man game. I'm emptying out the side, and guess what? James Harden is not going to have a problem deferring to Embiid on the low block, which you know he's unstoppable. And guess what? If they try to come double team, kick out, you got James Harden nailing the three or whatever the case may be. Here's where you're wrong. Here's where you're wrong. Let me ask you a question. Who's the leader in that Brooklyn Nets locker room?
Well, that's a good point.
Answer that.
No. I have no answer for that. You got me there. I have no answer for that. But I will come back with this. Hold on, I'm going to come back with you on this. You talk about James Harden and what James Harden brings to the table. First of all, he's a bit heavier. He's older. He's slower. Now, mind you, 22, 10, and 8 in his sleep. This brother's out of shape and was busting people's butt last year. I know what James Harden is capable of. I believe in the brother's skills, but I would also remind you this. In Brooklyn, you got Claxton and Jones and others, even Blake Griffin and them, in pick and roll situations. You understand what I'm saying? And obviously, they're not, hold on, wait a minute. All right, or pick and pop, screening for him, et cetera, et cetera. They ain't looking for the ball in Brooklyn. Embiid ain't doing that. Embiid want that damn basketball. Embiid want that damn basketball. So excuse me, are you sure that Harden with Embiid is going to work? Because of their skill set and how much they want the ball as well.
Yes, I'm sure, because we saw James Harden adjust his game, Stephen A., when he got to Brooklyn last season. Did James Harden not become the point guard last season?
Yeah, but who was he playing with? Playing with Kevin Durant is a little bit different than playing with Joel Embiid.
No, the hell it isn't, because when you talk about the 2 most skilled players in the game today, right now, today, it's Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid.
I'm talking about how different their games are. Not how great they are. I know they're great. How different their games are.
What's different? What's different about it? Joel Embiid is a center that does guard things. You show me a center that's out there doing.
The blasphemy!
He's
you
a
got to be
he
crazy.
He's
not like
are
that.
Are you crazy?
When Kevin Durant shooting a sniper like that for three, are you crazy? Are you crazy?
I'm not just talking. You're just talking about the three ball, Stephen A. I'm talking about the mid post. I'm talking about the mid post area, the one-legged fadeaways, the pushing of the rock euro stepping down the lane. I'm talking about the variety, the complete package on the offensive end. Let me ask you this real quick.
Yes.
Okay, but let me ask you this real quick. Let me tell you another reason I don't have faith in the Brooklyn Nets and why I still feel like Philly won this trade. Guess who? Another person I don't trust over there. I don't trust Steve Nash. And he's gave me every reason in the world not to trust him. By the way, the Nets are on the 10-game losing streak right now. By the way, he don't know if he can hold Kyrie accountable because he might receive a text message. He might receive a text message the next day saying that I'm not going to show up to work, or he might have to find out on IG Live. I don't trust Steve Nash.
Hold on. What I'm saying is this. I don't trust Kyrie Irving. I don't blame you for not trusting Steve Nash. Kevin Durant, definitely some leadership issues because, again, he defers to Kyrie instead of leading entirely too much, because that's part of the reason that James Harden wanted out, because KD going to roll with his brother, Kyrie Irving, instead of James Harden, so why James Harden needs to be there. But we also can't ignore what struggles, particularly in the postseason, James Harden has had. We have to remember the fact that the pressure is elevated significantly for him now that he's in Philly under the conditions with which he has arrived there back-to-back years. Not back-to-back years. Actually, it was back-to-back years. Forced his way out of Houston, now forced his way out of Brooklyn. You got all of that stuff going on. You got pressure on Doc. You got pressure on Daryl Morey. And you gave away Steph Curry and Andre Drummond. We can't ignore that. That does matter.
Okay, By the
way, how about the problems that it's going to cause Tobias Harris? Because Tobias Harris was a second option, giving you 20 a night. Now he's the third option.
Let me know.
You don't know how that's going to
be. He needs to be a third option.
I agree.
He needs to be a third option.
I didn't say that. I just say how it's going to affect him. We don't know.
But listen, Molly, Stephen, let me ask y'all a question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And then I got one.
When it comes down to looking at the Brooklyn Nets, right?
Right.
And we come down and we start to think about everything. We start to think about Steve Nash. We start to think about Kyrie Irving. We start to think about the lack of confidence in Ben Simmons. Okay, I look at it as the same situation. You look at Golden State and you look at Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins got motivated and got leadership over there. Now he's an all-star. They don't have that same type of leadership unless he's going to follow Kyrie lead and be sitting Indian style burning sage around the Philadelphia 76ers arena before they go play them on the road, I guess, in March. That's the type of leadership he's going to have. Yeah. I need a leader. And they don't have one. The Brooklyn Nets don't. Joel Embiid is the leader, though.
That's fair.
Danny Green is the leader, though.
There's no argument there.
Okay, here's
what
I need to know from both of you. This is all I care about. Where am I going to be in June?
Probably. Well, my hope would be Miami.
No, your hope's Miami.
My hope would be Miami.
Okay.
I really, especially since I'm missing the Super Bowl, which I'm very disgusted about.
For you.
I really, really need to be in Miami in June.
Okay, make up for lost time.
I really do.
All right, cool.
But if right now, I reserve the right to change my mind. Right now, my choice would be Milwaukee.
We're going to be in Milwaukee.
My choice would be Milwaukee.
Okay, I'm going to get a tour of the city. Can't wait for that. Perk, where are you? Where am I going to be in June?
What, you going to go around the corner? They ain't got much of a tour.
You know what? It's hard. I believe that it's going to be Philly and Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
It's hard to go against them goons, but I think that Embiid and James Harden, motivated, hungry for a championship, two of the best scorers in the game today, I think they could overpower the Miami Heat. And I think we'll be in Philadelphia in June.
Interesting.
I will say
you
this.
got the key to the city to Philly, right?
I do have the key to the city.
Good, you can pay
I will
for
say
dinners.
this about Philadelphia. James Harden is in a beautiful situation for a reason nobody has brought up.
Okay.
After what the city has been subjected to with Ben Simmons, James Harden, as much pressure as he has on him, he will never be embraced anywhere more than he will be embraced by the city of Philadelphia just because he's willing to step on the court and play. The fact that he's willing to do that, Philly is going to love him for it, because the ultimate insult, the ultimate crime is for a player to sit up there and say, I don't want to play for you. And that is what they can slice it any way they want to. That is what Ben Simmons did to the city of Philadelphia in the eyes of millions of people. He said, Philly, I don't want to play basketball just because of you. And I'm telling you, as a person that played it, that wrote for that city, for the Philadelphia Inquirer for 17 years and was a columnist for the last 7 years of my career, I'm telling you, that's a big-time city, a big-time sports town. There is no greater insult that you could give to the city of Philadelphia than to say you don't want to play for them. They will never forgive Ben Simmons for this. And I'm telling you, they're going to love James Harden the moment he steps on the court, just because he's willing to step on the court and go to war for them.
Absolutely. Perk, you have any final words before we say goodbye for a minute?
I know Meek Mills and Kevin Hart is smiling ear to ear. And Stephen, I ain't going nowhere. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I got
you
you.
in your all black.
I got you.
I got you. Yeah, you in your all black.
I look smooth.
I get it.
Don't I look smooth?
You do.
Don't I look smooth, Mr. T? I do.
Yeah.
It
You really do.
took you 20
You starting to
minutes
look a little younger.
Hold up. It took you 20 minutes to compliment yourself today.
Yeah, 20
Good
minutes.
job.
I
Good
do
job.
look good.
Okay.
I do look
Look
good.
at you,
I
the
didn't bring my drip
humility.
game, though. I didn't. I should have with KP wearing that chain. I should have brought my drip game, but no need.
Oh,
No
my
need.
goodness. All right, Big Perk, we'll talk to you in a hot second. We're going to tag you out with RC, another cat that's in L.A. right now. Quick takes, let's get it. Stephen A., you ready? Everyone had their eyes on the Lakers yesterday, but they ultimately decided to not make a move and kept Russell Westbrook on their roster. Where do the Lakers go from here?
Well, they're going to keep Russell Westbrook, obviously, because they couldn't get rid of him because he's owed $47 million next year. Most people think that this will be the end for Frank Vogel. It's just a question as to whether or not he'll get fired before the season ends and they'll put an interim in place, or whether or not he'll get fired at the end of the season. But those same people know it's not his fault. It's Pelinka, it's Linda and Rambis and Kurt Rambis, and the impact that they've had, and it's LeBron James, who's primarily responsible for okaying this roster and getting rid of some of the young talent that they got rid of. It's an absolute mess in L.A.
So you don't think we'll be in L.A. in June?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Which is very upsetting because I'd love to be there.
We'll keep it going. Now to a big trade that actually did happen. It's unbelievable. The blockbuster deal that sent Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and some picks from the Sixers to the Nets in exchange for James Harden and Paul Millsap. That will end the initial iteration of the Nets' Big Three, kind of before it started. In the end, Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving ended up playing just 16 games together.
I'm excited for our team. Looking forward to finishing the season out with these new groups and these new players. And, it's playoffs right around the corner, so we got to fast track into, getting used to each other. But I'm excited. I think everybody got what they wanted.
I can't really speak for James, but, for us in this locker room, I've just done my job to fulfill a great leadership role alongside Kay and other guys. And, I've been I think we're also forgetting I've been in a situation too where I've asked for a trade and I understand it. So I'm not here to judge him. I'm not here to talk bad on James. He has a great family. He's a great person. Sometimes we get caught up in these situations on teams where, sometimes the outside influence could get inside the locker room and then it has this divisive energy with it. And it's just not what I'm about.
All right, Big Perk is back. Before we get to the debate, Stephen A., I just have to say, I know this wasn't shocking to you because you're so dialed in, so you knew this was coming, but it is still unbelievable to me when I read that we only saw the Big Three play 16 games together. It actually never happened, but now I will be focused on the future. So tell me this. How does James Harden now look?
Well, to me, he doesn't look great. I happen to love the guy personally, but this is the second time in as many seasons he's forced his way out of a team. And so when you look at what he was willing to do to depart from Houston, it's one thing for you to sit home and say, I want to play ball, but I don't want to play for you any longer. It's another thing for you to come into camp out of shape on purpose to force your way out of the organization, because it takes time, as Big Perk knows, to get yourself in shape. So you compromised your own greatness just to get out of a particular place. Well, ultimately, you ended up getting a hamstring injury. And it's been difficult for you to recover. It potentially cost them a championship because if James Harden was healthy last year for the playoffs, they would have taken Milwaukee out, in my estimation. He was never healthy. And that left Kevin Durant by himself once Kyrie went down with the bad ankle. So that's a problem. Then you go to Philadelphia. Then you come into the season this year, all right? And you incur another hamstring injury. That's fine. Injuries happen. But a lot of it was because you looked bigger, okay? You didn't look to be in the greatest of shape. So that's problematic for you because people are looking at you and saying you didn't do all you could do to be in a peak condition. But then you couple that with coming late to practice, coming late to games. I was told after they played Utah, he showed up to the next game in Denver late, okay? Because you were sending a message that you didn't want to be there. I had somebody in his camp when they saw me on SportsCenter or NBA Today yesterday, rather, talking about James Harden, how healthy do we know him to be? I literally got a text that I could show from somebody in his camp that says, you know he was faking the injury, right? You know he's not injured at all. He's healthy. He's ready to go. That's what they said. And so this is the kind of reputation that he's built for himself. That's not good. That means you got to get to Philadelphia and you got to ball out because balling out is going to forgive everything, especially with Embiid having the kind of year that he has. But I want to add this, KP. You know what I am happy about? Despite the fact that I think even though Philadelphia got better, that Daryl Morey didn't get the better of this deal. You know what? And KP, this is going to put a smile on your face or at least get you riled up in a good way. What I love about this is we going to really find out what Kyrie Irving is made of. And let me tell you why, KP. Let me tell you why. First of all, he was just on there completely delusional. You know, being a leader. Who told you were a leader? Who the hell told him that? I mean, ain't nobody looking at Kyrie. I'm sitting there. The minute he said that, I'm like, my eyes almost popped out of my head like Beetlejuice. I'm like, what the hell he talking about? Ain't nobody looking at him like he's some leader. I'm like, what the hell he's talking about? He's clueless, clueless, okay? All right? That's number one. But here's the thing. Ben Simmons' arrival puts more of an offensive onus on Kyrie's shoulders. And because it does that, since you got Ben, since you got Draymond, Andre Drummond rather, and you buffered your front line, since you've got Seth Curry with Paul, Patty Mills, and KD coming back, you know what we gonna find out, KP? How dedicated are you, Kyrie? You gonna leave him hanging? Because clearly with these moves that have been made, you know you're needed now more than ever. You know you gonna still not take the vaccine, you gonna still ignore the New York.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's no update on that right now.
No update with it. You gonna still leave them hanging? We gonna find out because let's check me if I'm wrong, Big Perk. Ain't that a part of leadership? You know, KD's in Brooklyn. KD's in Brooklyn because of you. So now that this team is this team, you gonna sit up there and say we can do it next year, or you gonna go for it now? All right? If you don't go for it now, you willing to say I'm leaving the team hanging? This is about me. It ain't about them. We go see what decision he makes as the season progresses.
Well, let me tell you how great of a leader Kyrie Irving is. He's so great of a leader that James Harden forced his way out of Brooklyn because of his leadership skills. That's the number one thing, and I agree with you on that. But the other stuff you just uttered out your mouth, I totally disagree. Look, this makes James Harden look like a man on a mission. Makes him look good, in my opinion. When you take it all the way back to the Houston Rockets situation, Daryl Morey stepped down. All of a sudden, no communication with James Harden about who was going to be the coach. James Harden wanted Ty Lue. No one discussed that with him. They hired Silas, who, by the way, I'm a huge fan of, but James Harden wasn't on that. It was no communication with James Harden in that organization, who he had poured everything and more, made that team relevant again since Elijah won, and then you don't communicate with him. I would want out anyway. So what James Harden is showing me, the great thing about it, people could call him a ring chaser or whatever the case may be, is that he's trying to win a championship. He wants to win a championship. And now when he gets to Brooklyn, he's like, hold on, man. All right, look, we had a plan in place. We had a plan in place, and I keep telling you about the plan, Stephen A. You know about it. You know they all were supposed to sign contract extensions before the season started. All, the big three, all was supposed to be locked in, and then Kyrie derailed that, and all of a sudden, everything else that transpired, the pattern of events, and then all of a sudden, we know the relationship that Daryl Morey and James Harden has with one another. We already know that relationship. But all of a sudden, the big Philly, Joel Embiid, started to look like eye candy. And the thing that I told you yesterday on NBA Today, I'm saying it again. When you're on the other end and you're looking at a guy like Joel who's showing passion, who's showing that he's starving not only to be a great basketball player, but he wants to win, and he wants to win at a high level, and both of y'all are both starving for a championship, hell yeah, I want to go over there. I want to force my way out. Then I'd rather be in with a guy that is 100% in and 10 toes down than be with an organization that has a guy that's part-time in and not all the way in, and not guys holding him accountable. He looks good in my eyes.
Perk, I got you. I know we got to go because we got to go right now. The only correction I will give you is that when it came to coaches, from what I was told, James Harden didn't want to talk to anybody, including Ty Lue. He wanted out of Houston so badly he wasn't interested in talking to any coach.
That's not true, Stephen A.
Okay.
He wanted Ty Lue.
All right.
He wanted Ty Lue.
He wanted out.
All right. Got to leave it there, guys. Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan's waiting.
That's true. That's true for facts. He wanted out.
Big Perk, thanks for waking up early on the West Coast for us. We will see you on NBA Today, sir. You be safe out there. When we come back here on First Take, of course.
He's just a really good player. Anything you would ask a defensive lineman to do, he does. He does it at a high level.
Hit from behind, and he's going to go down again. And it's Cam Jordan who gets him again, who just is having a field day on the pass rush. Look at the throw, under pressure, and he's taken down. He's taken down Cam Jordan again. Best player takes over when you need it the most.
There he is, waking up early for us, bringing the sunshine right there. I like that shirt. Saints defensive end, 7-time Pro Bowler Cam Jordan. Cam joining us on behalf of Dapper Labs and NFL All Day. Cam, thank you so much for being with us, first of all. And I want to dive right into your team. I don't want to go Super Bowl. Okay, so end of an era, obviously Sean Payton retiring, Dennis Allen stepping in. But Marcus Spears was with us earlier, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had the Saints going to the Super Bowl preseason. Like, you guys have a squad, but you had 4 different quarterbacks. What is your level of concern going into the season with that issue?
And we had 4 different quarterbacks. We were displaced all the way to Dallas at the beginning of the season. We played our first home game in Florida against the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
You know, we went around and proved how gritty our team is, how much of a veteran leadership we have on our team. And at the same time, we went through 4 quarterbacks, like you said. We went through 58 players that had to play for us. We went through half a coaching staff getting COVID for a couple games and still finding ways to win and come out with a 9-8 record. I think, again, we stabilize. We get our quarterback and Jameis Winston back. He's healthy the whole year. I'm agreeing exactly with everybody else. We'll see you guys at Super Bowl 57. If Jameis doesn't sign back, I mean, that's why I'm scouting. I'm openly and actively scouting. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. I mean, I heard Lamar Jackson still hasn't signed a contract. Kyler Murray may have wiped his Instagram clean. I'm out here looking for any and all trails for our next leader.
All right, Cam, here's my problem. And first of all, I appreciate you being on the show, and congratulations on a good year for yourself. 12.5 sacks. Y'all had a 9-8 record. Like you said, y'all had a lot of problems. You had 4 different damn quarterbacks.
You guys
still
made lemonade.
had a winning record. So I give y'all a lot of love and respect, no doubt about it. But I got to ask you this question, because here's my problem with that soliloquy you just went on. You acting like y'all could go to the Super Bowl no matter which quarterback it is. You got to pick somebody, Cam. I mean, you said Jameis Winston in the same breath as Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. You got to pick one, bro. You got to pick one.
I'm simply saying Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards with 30 interceptions the year before he came to us. Now look at him. What he was on pace for? He was on pace for 5,000 yards with less than half of what he had thrown. My man has evolved. My man has become exactly who he wanted to be, and he got taken from us early. That being said, I don't have a quarterback on a contract. So, no, I don't have to pick just yet. It's still just February. I've got all the way at least till September. I'm looking.
That's fair.
I don't know if our GM is looking, but I'm looking.
I got you.
He's out there recruiting. He's out there hunting.
I got you. Let me transition to the Super Bowl right now because we got Cincinnati coming up against the Los Angeles Rams. Who do you give the edge to in this game and why?
Man, I think I picked Cincinnati yesterday, so I'm going to pick the Rams today. I am not really here for a winner. I feel like as a defensive lineman, I'm biased. I love the way Trey Hendrickson is pass rushing. I love the way, he was brought into Cincinnati, leading that team with sacks. I like how Sam Hubbard pass rushes. But I'm going to look at Aaron Donald and Von Miller and the way they took over the game, their last game, the NFC Championship game. The way they took over that last drive, that's special. I mean, that's something that you can't fight. That's two legends of the game. The active leading sack leader in Von Miller, and then you talk about a perennial voting defensive MVP right there. I mean, there's no better tandem right now than a Von Miller and a Aaron Donald in the way they can affect the game. So I'm going to say Rams today, and I'll probably go back to Cincinnati tomorrow. I don't know. I've got a switching mind, just like I've got a switching heart on which quarterback we're going to have.
I hear you on that. No, it's a tough pick. But do you think it's going to be a close game?
I don't think so. I mean, all of these games leading up to this Super Bowl have been close.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I think they're going to be a little bit tired. Sure, they get a 2-week span of rest and relaxation, but that was taxing all the way from, the entry of the playoffs into the Super Bowl. We've had
Who's going to be
games.
tired?
I mean, talk about
who?
I'm just saying that takes a toll.
I'm saying which team you saying is going to be tired?
For Cincy? I'm saying how many hits can Joe Burrow take?
Yeah. Gotcha.
He took like what, 15 hits, 9 sacks against Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, he got sacked a few times in the AFC Championship game, a lot of pressures. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's young and spry enough, bold enough to keep on getting up and keep being relentless and keep being fearless. That being said, Matt Stafford's getting hit too. I mean, Whitworth is 40. 40. Is he as old as Tom Brady?
No, not yet.
No.
I should say Walter Payton Man of the Year, right. Whitworth. But I mean, he's taking a lot of hits too, so it's going to be intriguing. It's going to be a battle of D-line, and I'm going to keep on putting the emphasis on the D-line.
Yeah, but Burrow has handled those hits like a champ.
He's right about that D-line now.
All right, tell me about your partnership with Dapper Labs in NFL All Day.
Man, you talk about my partnership with the NFT space as a whole. I mean, I'm always actively looking. I mean, I went down with COVID this year, missed my first game this year, and I went into a deep dive. I mean, when I say deep dive, I mean, I came out there not even knowing what day it was. I was trying to get back to the field, couldn't get back to the field. I started diving deeper into Web3 than I already was. I've been playing around with crypto for, 5-6 years now. Call it 2017, 5 years. And then the NFT, I wouldn't call it the NFT space opened up, and it was just the right time to start doing research, right time to start looking at the Polygon blockchain, right time to look at Ethereum, look at Solana, look at Bitcoin. I mean, I had time on my days. This was right before the NFL decided to cut that time in half from 10 days to 5 days. Yeah. I could have been back for the game if it had been 5 days, but I had a 10-day stint. So I did some research, made some plays, I made some money, and I said, "Oh, I like this." And then it sort of snowballed into having, my Bored Apes, having the Bapes Clan, Business Apes, which is coming out this month, headed into NFL All Day, which gives you a sense of nostalgia, if you will, because everybody used to collect cards when they were kids. I mean, I had a big old shoebox full of trading cards, and NFL All Day sort of brings that NFT utility where you can buy these things with Flowcoin, as well as when you purchase a pack, it's like you're ripping open a new pack. It feels like you're opening up a new pack of trading cards, except they're moments. Now you're owning these digital moments where, you have a Cam Jordan sacking Sam Darnold 3.5 times this year, or a Cam Jordan sacking Tom Brady 2 times this year. Emphasis on a Cam Jordan right now, sacking a lot of quarterbacks. Appreciate the NFC South division. But you have these moments that you can own. My first pack I opened up, I had Alonzo Mourning, and it brought me all the way back to when I was a kid.
I love this. I love the passion. I love the passion that you have for it. Yeah, everything. Listen, you took a deep dive. You're not playing around when it comes to this front. I'll start doing my homework too, because I'm not going to lie, I'm clueless. But I also liked your passion when we talked about your Saints in that season, and I know you are not happy because you guys didn't live up to who you really are as a team, and there's a lot of outside circumstances. So can't wait to see you guys back on the field again next season. Enjoy LA, be safe, and best of luck in this venture as well. Come join us again soon.
All right, bro.
Thanks, Cam.
Hey, much appreciated. You guys have a blessed one.
All right, this weekend, like, so good, makes you want to be in LA. But will it be the best Super Bowl of all time? Let's break it down. It's time for Steven's A-List.
Yeah. It's time for the A-List top 5 Super Bowl performances of all time. Kimberly, let me tell you so you stay right there, okay? Molly Q, you stay right there. Let me give y'all a list right now. Let me break this down for y'all right now. Top Super Bowl halftime shows ever. Let's go to number 5 on the list, please. Give it to me. Bam! Prince. How can we knock this right here? It was Chicago versus Indianapolis, okay? It was Peyton Manning, his first Super Bowl. I was in attendance for the Super Bowl as a fan, sitting in the stands, and I can't front. As bad as Prince is, or was, God rest his soul, let me tell you something right now. When the rain came down, after he started singing Purple Rain, that was God talking to us, saying, Prince is that dude, okay? I got to have him top 5 for that moment alone. Let's go to number 4 on the list, please. Give it to me right here. Give it up now, Bruno Mars. Do y'all remember the show that this brother put on? Now, I can't front. Kimberly, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. I didn't even know who the hell Bruno Mars was. I paid no attention to him until I saw him at halftime, and that brother put on a show, and I said, oh, my God.
Then you
the heir apparent to Michael Jackson has arrived. That's how special it was. Bruno Mars was sensational. Go back and watch the tape, Molly. Let's go to number 3 on the list. Jackson, give it to me right here, right now. Bam! Michael Jackson. Let me tell you something right now. This is Michael Jackson, y'all. Y'all remember the show that this brother put on? We gonna sit here and deny the great Michael Jackson doesn't belong in the top 5 as special as this brother was? Are you crazy?
No, you put Bruno Mars in the same sentence as Michael Jackson. Blasphemy and egregious.
Just sit down. Just sit down. You don't know your eyes. Something wrong with you. Michael Jackson. We can't leave the great one off the list. God rest his soul too. Let's go to number 2 on the list, please. Give it to me. Give it to me right now. Beyonce, 2013. You look at just the walk. I mean, damn, just the walk right there did it for me personally. She can't just sing. She's not just gorgeous. She's an entertainer extraordinaire. She turned that Super Bowl out. Go watch the tape. But even she ain't number 1. Let's go to number 1 on the list. At least not alone. Bam! Coldplay. Beyonce and Bruno. No. Do y'all remember how they turned this out? Excuse me. Go back and watch the highlights. I don't want to hear about YouTube.
No.
I don't want to hear about people like that or Madonna and all of this other stuff. Just get out of here with that. This is Bruno Mars with Beyonce with Coldplay. Coldplay.
Get out of here.
You better ask somebody.
You know what?
It was special.
You don't feel good about it, the fact that you're trying to defend this one. Get up here, Kimberly. But the fact that you tried to say Bruno Mars is the next Michael Jackson, I mean, I don't even know if I could talk to you anymore.
Somebody who saw Bruno, I'm going to say I agree with him.
Thank you.
Wow.
You don't know any better.
Wow.
You don't know any better.
First of all, how are you going to have this? Beyonce shut the place down. The lights went out. She is a bad, you know what?
But her performance with Bruno and Coldplay.
Get out of here.
They were in formation.
Beyonce goes by initial, just B.
Time out. I'm not hating on her. I got a 1 and 2. Okay. What are you talking about?
I do feel like it should be Babe, Bruno.
Okay.
Hold on.
I agree. That wasn't me.
Hold on. We have 20 seconds left.
Yes.
Did you forget about Jennifer Lopez
and Shakira?
Honorable
mention, number 6.
Number 6. In Miami? All that Latin goodness. All right, I'm getting yelled at. We got to go to break.
Please.
We got to go to break.
You were wrong.
We got to go.